after the weather hasn't been so bad. As y'all know, I live way out in the sticks and don't get a good connection out here. So, um, oh goodness. How's everybody doing tonight? I did a live panel on StreamYard earlier over at Nana's Angels, and I didn't have any troubles. I don't understand what is going on. Hey, Darkness Exposed, David Taylor, True Crime and Coffee, PJ. Living that thug life. I know what you mean. West Side. Actually, I'm in the South, so it's the South Side. Hey Lisa, how are you? Well, hopefully maybe hey Frank, how are you? Good, 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 good. Whew, it has been one heck of a week. It has stormed here since Monday. And it quit yesterday, and then late last night or this morning, I don't even remember now. I lose track of it. It rains so damn much, I lose track of it. I'll be dang if it didn't start rumbling again. But we've got flooding and tornado watches and all kinds of stuff out here. But anyway, I want to welcome everybody to the Ruby Pearl Glamper True Crime Podcast. Yes, I still need that boat. Y'all, Lisa Jones is taking up donations for me. Because if it don't quit raining, I'm going to have to get y'all to chip in and get me a flat bottom with a trolling motor or a paddle or something to get me out of here. Because, I mean, it's awful. April showers brings May flowers. It's not supposed to still be raining in May. So, well, tonight is going to be, I'm going to try and keep this as non-triggering as I can. The cases that I'm going to discuss are very triggering. So just be forewarned. Lisa and Frank and any of my other mods that are in here, if you would, issue a few trigger warnings here and there. But like I said, I'm going to try and keep it as PG as I can. Today, that Stevie Branch, Michael Moore, and Christopher Byers were found in West Memphis, Arkansas. Were found murdered in a drainage ditch. And I'm so... They were found murdered in a drainage ditch. If you're familiar with the West Memphis 3 case, 3 teenagers were convicted of the murders: Damian Eccles, Jason Baldwin, and Jesse Miskelly. Hi, Leland Carr. Thank you. 3 local teenagers were found guilty and convicted of the murders, and several years later they were released under an Alford plea. I have been a very long time supporter of the West Memphis Three. I do not believe that Damien, Jason, and Jesse are guilty. I have studied this case for 29 years. It's 29 years today that I have followed this case. I mean, I'll never forget when it was announced on my local news, and then a month later is when they arrested Damien and Jason and Jesse. But people may think it's hypocritical of me to talk about the kids because I am supporters of the men. Hello, Nana. Because I am a supporter of the three men who were convicted. But it's not, anybody who knows this case knows that it's not that simple. But so if you would, I want everybody to raise your right hand and put up two fingers and recite the Scouts. Why does it have to be this lie that keeps going wrong? This is so frustrating, y'all. Once again, on my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and to my country and to obey the Scouts law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. That is the Cub Scouts honor. And I wanted to do that in loving memory of Christopher Byers, Stevie Branch, and Michael Moore. All I've ever wanted is the truth. That's all I've ever wanted to know in this case. The evidence tells me that the three convicted men are not guilty, but if for some reason that there was something that ever came about that showed that they were for sure guilty, I would accept it and move on. But I can't accept it and move on. I know what a farce and a joke their trial was. And even two of the parents don't believe that they were guilty now either. So, I just want to know the truth. I want to know the truth of what happened that evening on May the 5th, 1993, in Robin Hood Hills Woods. Because I don't believe the truth has ever truly come out. About I have some updates on those cases. The first case is the kidnapping of Camille Cupcake McKinney, who was 2019. She was 3 years old. This happened in Birmingham, Alabama. On this case, my oldest daughter had just moved home back to Arkansas from. So when this happened, but Cupcake was kidnapped out of the front yard of a birthday. I have no idea, Frank. Yes, I'm on my phone. I don't know how to fix it though. Oh, I know why. Hang on. Let's see if this fixes it. Well, I don't know how to fix it, and don't even know if I'm even going to be able to finish making it through this whole of. But anyway, so Cupcake was kidnapped out of the front yard of a birthday party. She was 3 years old, and yes, me too. I'm ready for these storms to go away. I'm sick and tired of rain. They found her body 10 days later in a dumpster. They arrested Smoke. They arrested Patrick Stallworth and a lady named Derek Irisha Brown. And they have not only state charges against them, they have federal charges as well. I'm going to give you the charges. I'm going to tell you the charges of what they were charged with, but I will not say what the details of this case are. If you feel that you can stomach some pretty horrific details that was done to a 3-year-old little girl, please go look up the case. It's Camille Cupcake Mckinney in Alabama. They have state charges of capital murder of a child under 14 and capital murder of a child during a kidnapping. On the state charges, they do face the death penalty. On the federal charges, however, they have decided not to pursue the death penalty and instead will be going for a life without parole sentence. They each have 1 count of kidnapping and 1 count of conspiracy to kidnap a minor. Those are the federal charges. They have waived their right to a speedy trial, and they are tentatively looking at October and November to try them in this case. Um, the mother, of course, she had absolutely nothing to do with this case. These were complete strangers to little Cupcake. And it is just like I said, the details of this case are horrific. And if you feel that you can stomach them, by all means, please go look up the case. But this little girl grabbed the attention of so many people and the whole community. Her big eyes and sweet little face just, you couldn't imagine ever, I couldn't imagine ever harming her. The second case I wanted to talk about also comes out of Alabama. And it is the case of Kamari Holland. If any of you are familiar with the Kamari Holland case. This is how do I say this? A private sex trafficking case. If that makes any sense. You've heard of it, Lisa? This was not like a big group type sex trafficking case. This is a one-on-one sex trafficking case. The mother, Christy Sipley, sold her little girl, Kamari Holland, to a man named Jeremy Williams. And she didn't even actually have custody of this little girl. This little girl lived with her father. She was just visiting her mother. But they have 3 counts of felony murder, 2 counts of sex trafficking, and those are the charges again. Oh, you were talking about the Cupcake case. Oh, okay. Are you familiar with the case of Kamari Holland? Kamari Holland is a case also out of Alabama. But the mother, Christy Sipley, has been charged with 3 counts of felony murder and 2 counts of sex trafficking. They have set a tentative trial date for, oh, I know it, True Crime and Coffee, and that's what I'm going to get into talking about. The man that she sold her daughter to, he has 4 counts of capital murder, trigger warning, for kidnapping, rape, sodomy, and killing a child under the age of 14. He also faces charges of abuse of a corpse and producing child pornography. He has pled not guilty by reason of mental defect. Basically, he's pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity. And by all definitions, you would have to be insane. I'm talking criminally, mentally insane to do what was done to this child. I'm not going to speak of the details because it's even more graphic than Cupcake's case. There's not been a trial date set for him, for Jeremy Williams. He's just pled guilty by reason of mental defect or whatever. But I think back over all the cases like this that I've followed since the early 90s. I think about the circumstances that Christopher and Stevie and Michael died under, John Benet Ramsey, the Routier boys. I'm not fully sold that Darlie Routier is guilty. You may have your own opinions about the case. Exactly, Lisa. Exactly. You may have your own opinions about Darlie Routier. I'm not sold on her being guilty, but the brutality of that case that was done to those little boys is horrific. And you think about Kaylee Anthony and Susan Smith's boys. Those, hey Arctic, those little boys were strapped into their car seat and driven off into a lake. And you look at the cases that we're all talking about now and covering now, like Harmony Montgomery, Serenity McKinney, Evelyn Boswell, Oakley Carlson, Summer Wells. These children that are missing and that their parents had something to do with their demise. I don't mention Monkey Vaughn in that group because I don't believe her parents or his parents had anything to do with his disappearance. But you think about, where are these kids? What was done to these kids? How these kids suffered and what they went through. And I say this a million times a day, what the fuck is wrong with people? I mean, seriously, what the fuck is wrong with people? Are they wired wrong? Are they born bad? Is it the work of Satan? Evil? Hey, Louisiana girl. Louisiana Saturday night. We get down the fiddle and you get down the bow. Kick off your shoes and you throw them on the floor. Dance in the kitchen till the morning light. Louisiana Saturday night. I had to liven it up a little bit. What are these people wired wrong? Are they born bad? Did society make these people bad? Did drugs just fry these people's brains? What is it? Is it the evil that exists in this world? Because these people are inhumane. They're what we would define as inhumane. Think about Jeffrey Dahmer. Look what Jeffrey Dahmer did. I mean, how sick in the head do you have to be? What is fucked up in your genetics or your brain that makes people commit these kinds of crimes like this against innocent children? I'm not talking about adults. I'm talking about innocent, defenseless, cute, you just want to pinch their damn little cheeks children. Why? It is, y'all know I've told y'all a million times. I've been studying true crime for a long time. And one of the most fascinating things about studying true crime is that what makes these people who they are? Why did these people become who they were, who they ended up being? Some of them had a bad childhood. If you look into their upbringing and their past, some of them had horrible childhoods. Charles Manson was sold for $10 and a 6-pack of beer. It's no wonder he came out the way he did. He was beaten in all these reform schools and stuff that he was sent to. But then you have some of these people who had a relatively, normal upbringing. Of course, Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, he was heavily influenced by his uncle, who had been in the Vietnam War. And that shit just escalated. But I just cannot fathom. Oh, you're fine, Louisiana girl. What we're just basically, I'm just basically talking about what is it that makes people commit such horrific crimes against children that, as I said, in these two cases that are actually three cases that I've talked about, because it's today, excuse me, today is the anniversary 29 years ago that the kids in West Memphis were killed. But the horrific nature of the deaths of the West Memphis kids, of Camille Cupcake Mckinney, of Kamari Holland, Serenity McKinney, Evelyn Boswell. We don't even know yet what happened to Harmony Montgomery or Oakley Carlson, just that her parents told their other kids that she was eaten by a wild wolf or something in the woods. Who does that? What makes these people turn into these monsters like this that can find any kind of enjoyment or fantasize or sexual pleasure or whatever in doing things like this to an innocent child? I mean, these are the kinds of cases that really test my faith. And I know everyone in the world has asked this question. God, why? Why does God let horrible things like this happen? If he's such a, great and almighty God and he loves us and all that, why does he let this kind of horrific thing go on? And the answer is I don't know. But it's these kinds of cases that are the ones that truly test my faith. Because in a lot of true crime cases, there's always a lesson to learn from it. You look at like Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie. What lesson did we learn from that case? Domestic violence awareness. Noticing the signs of a domestic violence relationship and getting out of it. There's so many different lessons that we can learn from some of these cases, but there is no kind of lesson to learn in these three cases. There's no kind of lesson, there's no kind of rational thinking, any kind of rationale that anybody could come up with these three cases. And I just I don't know what it is. And I wish that someone could help me understand it. Not that I want to understand it, but yet I do want to understand it. You know what I'm saying? And I want to ask I want to ask y'all a question. It's a very controversial question. So, trigger warning. I know that abortion is a very touchy subject. I know that whether you are pro-choice or pro-life, that everyone's opinions are pretty staunch and pretty strong. But it has something that's been bothering me so bad is I see what one of our senators here in Arkansas has done. And right now, we have Roe v. Wade in the news. Oh boy. Well, I tried to send them down south to Texas to dipshit down there. And they went through. I have no sense of direction, True Crime and Coffee. Sorry about that. I tried to send them down there to him, but you got to forgive an old girl, you know. But with Roe v. Wade in the news so much, and what I have seen one of our senators do here in Arkansas, my fear is that if they put a complete ban or they put like a whole bunch of staunch restrictive laws on abortion, that these child homicides are going to double and triple and quadruple. We're going to see more abused children in CPS, and DHS, and DCF, and foster care. And despite what your take on abortion is, whether you're pro-life or pro-choice, I just have that fear that that we're going to see a whole lot more child murders and a whole lot more abused children and children tossed into foster care. I know we have safe haven laws, but even right now with Roe v. Wade legal, we still have people throwing babies in dumpsters. Does anybody remember the Amy Grossenberg and Brian Peterson case back in the 90s? The college couple who had been high school sweethearts, and they had their baby in a hotel room and threw it in a dumpster. Does anybody remember that case? We've got a case that just happened not long ago. Woman tossing her baby in a dumpster. The baby was saved, though. The baby was still alive. So even with safe haven laws, we still got these idiots out here that are throwing babies away. They're killing children instead of giving them to their grandparents or aunts and uncles or their whoever, somebody that'll take care of them, somebody that will love them. I mean, David Smith was devastated. All she had to do was give those little boys to their daddy. She did not, even if she wanted to move on with this dude and not have no kids attached to her, or whatever Casey Anthony had in her mind she was wanting to do, or whatever. So many of these kids have grandparents that you can give them to. But no, people have no regard for life anymore. That they would just take their child and dump them out in the woods or in a tote in the shed, or and bury them inside the walls of their house. Kylie Wilt and Alan Hollis are facing charges on that. They buried the baby in the wall of their name is Kylie Wilt. Wilt. And if you have not watched that video yet, please go and watch that. I talk about several cases of monster moms killing their children. Horrific. But in these current cases, some of these current cases, as I said, drugs have gotten a lot worse since the 90s. Drugs weren't an issue in these kids. I'm sure I am. I'm sorry. But so I know that drugs, are playing a huge part in a lot of these current cases, but these cases like Kamari Holland and Cupcake Mckinney and Stevie Michael and Christopher, it's just pure evil. I mean, I don't know any other way to put it. It's evil and inhumane. And what would make anyone commit these kinds of acts against innocent children is, I just can't imagine what is fried in their brain, genetics, whatever it is. It's just insanity. I do have a new case that I wanted to bring to y'all. This comes out of Texas, and this is pretty heartbreaking. A man named let me look. I wrote it. Francisco Lupion. He's 32 years old. I don't know if he was at his sister's house or his brother's house or who it was. But his 9-year-old nephew shot his 4-year-old little brother in the head with a handgun that belonged to Francisco Lupion. Now, this guy's a felon, so he was not supposed to even own a gun. But you know, that never stops criminals. They're going to get a gun regardless. Francisco Lupion taught his little nephew how to pull that slide back on that handgun. Now, if any of y'all have ever shot a handgun, you know, I mean, it takes a little bit of, you know, effort to do that. But this 32-year-old man taught his 9-year-old nephew how to pull the slide back on a handgun. And that's exactly what the little boy did. Pulled the slide back on the handgun, pointed it at his 4-year-old brother, and shot him in the head. The child is alive. He is in critical condition. There were 8 people in that house. 8 people. Not watching this 9-year-old and 4-year-old little boy. For them to get off in a room and for this little 9-year-old to get his uncle's handgun left out laying God knows where, probably on the dresser or something. And picked it up and shot his little 4-year-old brother with that. Now, this is a situation where I have to blame everyone that was in the house for not watching these kids. And I want to say this. We all have a past. We've all done stuff. I am no saint. I've got a past myself. I've done things I'm not proud of. But we learn from them, and we try and teach our children better. We try and teach our children not to make the same mistake. And I get it. There's so much gang violence and gun violence in the Black community and whatnot. But why do you have to push it off on an innocent child? What part of you thinks that's fucking cool? To teach your 9-year-old nephew how to be a gangster and how to shoot people at 9 years old. The cycle of abuse, the cycle of all that stuff, everything has to end somewhere. Why do you want to just keep going on and on and on with it? I mean, I just cannot fathom that. Now you've got a 9-year-old child who has shot his brother. I don't know, Lisa, but what I do hope is that they have taken him out of the custody of his parents. I think the kid needs to be removed from that home and placed in, child protective services or whatever, until all this is resolved. You have 8 people in the damn house and no one watching a 9-year-old and a 4-year-old, and someone gets shot, that's neglect. That is pure D neglect. You allow your felon-ass brother to come up in your house with an illegal handgun? That's just neglect. So I hope they have removed that child from that home. But now you've got a 4-year-old child whose life is just ruined if he lives. He may be an invalid. He may have to be taken care of and for the rest of his life with, special needs and special care. He may suffer brain injury. He may not live at all. We just don't know yet. But a 32-year-old man just destroyed the innocent life of his 9-year-old and 4-year-old nephew. Why? Because it's cool to be a gangster? Because that's all you know? Hey, Rockin' Robin, tweet, tweet, Rockin' Robin, tweet, tweedledee. Go Rockin' Robin, 'cause we're really gonna rock 'em tonight. Yeah, I got sorry, y'all. I got to lighten the mood on this whole conversation because it's just devastating, heartbreaking, and I just don't get it. I just cannot understand it. Just because you did something that you're not proud of in your past, that you did drugs, or you used to rob people, or you used to be a gangster, or you used to be an alcoholic, or whatever the case may be, you're supposed to teach your kids better. You're supposed to take the issues that you went through and faced and stop the cycle. Stop the cycle of abuse. Stop the cycle of violence. So there is nothing cute about teaching a 9-year-old how to shoot a handgun. And now you've destroyed 2 innocent lives before they ever had a chance to get started. Why? I wish that we could, I've said this several times in people's chats, I wish that we all had the ability and had the money to all of us, every single one of us out here, to go to Washington, to do a million mom, dad march to Washington and get something changed and get something done about CPS that's failing these kids day after day after day. And these kids are ending up dead. they're being returned to biological parents, and then their biological parents are killing them. Like Jordan Beliveau, that little boy, that happened a little while before the case of Cupcake Mckinney. And that little boy captured my heart. And they took that child out of a perfectly excellent, amazing Ward and June Cleaver home and gave him back to his mama, who was single. She wasn't even with his daddy no more. His daddy was a gangster. His whole Facebook page was full of thugging and drugs and flashing cash and all that kind of stuff. And took that little boy and gave him back to his mama, because all this reunification crap. That's not what is always in the child's best interest. I don't believe either that it is in a child's best interest, if the child is black, that the child should be placed with a black foster family. Or that, and they're going to have to lighten up on, especially like here in Arkansas, they're going to have to lighten up about gay couples fostering kids and adopting kids and whatnot. Something's got to change. And it's going to have to be brought to national attention, national media attention. It's going to have to be taken to Washington, taken to the President of the United States, whoever he may be at the time, and whether you like him or not. Something's got to be done. Now, I know that it's easy for me to sit here on my fat butt and say that than to do it. And if I could, no, color shouldn't matter. It should be whatever's best for the child. And Jordan Beliveau was a little black boy who was living with a white foster family who wanted to adopt him. They adored that little boy. Absolutely adored him. And they turned around and gave him back to his trashy ass mama, who wasn't nothing but a trap hoe, to put it bluntly. But something's got to change. We've got to, I don't know, we've got things, some things trying to change, with Monkey's Law and y'all come on, help me out here, because I know there's some other laws that are being put out there. We're also going to have to do something about Amber Alert. I think that every state should have the same criteria that has to be met for an Amber Alert. But honestly, maybe more of what we need, because it seems as though the one thing um, that that keeps you from getting an Amber Alert, or I mean, I know what. Yes, absolutely, Robin, absolutely. The one thing in Monkey's case that kept him from getting an Amber Alert, because there was no uh, car. He was not seen being abducted or whatever. So he didn't meet the criteria for an Amber Alert. And the crazy thing is, the child still don't have an Amber Alert after all this time. Exactly, Lisa. So maybe what we need is an Amber Alert, where if you have a description of a car, of a tag number, or of the perpetrator or whatever, then that meets an Amber Alert. And then maybe we need to go a step down and just have a generalized missing child alert. Because once a child is abducted, especially, from that point, you can get anywhere, you can be anywhere. But so, like in the case of Summer Wells, in my opinion, she would fall under a missing child alert. It's still the same thing. You're still gonna get, okay, let's say this, on a missing child alert, that goes out to your county, or like say that go yeah, say that just goes out to you, everyone in that particular county, like say Hawkins County. Everyone in Hawkins County would get a missing child alert on Summer Moon Utah Wells, and the description and where she went missing from. But then when you have a child abduction case, and you have a description of a car, you have a tag number or whatever, then that needs to be statewide and nationwide sent. You see what I'm saying? I mean, you should, because like I said, when you have a car involved and all that kind of stuff, it's like the situation with Casey White and Vicky White. We have no idea where they are. They got a 6-hour head start. Have no clue where they could be or where they're headed. So you've got to have a nationwide alert so everyone can be on the lookout for these children and stuff. And that's one thing that I do, and one thing that you all can do, is every time you're at a gas station, at a truck stop, at a campground, because child abductors and people escaping from prison and shit like that, they're going to be off grid. They're going to be staying off grid. They're not going to go hand their ID to a motel clerk, um, you know, and reserve a room. Um, so, but look at children. Look at children when you're out in public. Just look in, like when you're at the gas station pumping gas, look around at the other cars. Look at kids that are sitting in the car while their mom or dad or whatever is pumping gas. And, you know, because you never know. That could be Michael Monkey Vaughn sitting in the back of that car. That could be Summer Wells. It it could be any child that's been abducted or missing. If you're out camping with your family, make sure you, hey Marg, how are you? Make sure you look around, look around at everybody in the campground and make note of the cars and things like that. And especially if you have a child that's missing in your home state or your hometown or whatever, keep a picture of that child and that car and that tag number on your phone. And I mean, I'm always out here detective and, I'm always watching people and looking at stuff. So yeah, that, that's just something that we can all do, because, help me out here, Arctic. Nikki Rule, who does not have an Amber Alert either, because it's considered a child custody dispute. Thanks to the help of social media, this child was spotted. And I don't even want to get into what happened, but it was another law enforcement failure and another CPS failure. Arctic Fox has been following this case, and he's done quite a few videos on it. And yeah, we should have got that kid back already. But again, another failure out of law enforcement and CPS. And now they're gone. And going to have to try to find them again. These people that have little Nikki Rule. When you hear the details of that situation and how he was seen, with bruises on him, and law enforcement and CPS did nothing. They stood there and physically saw this and just let him go like they had jaywalked or something. I mean, I don't get it. I don't. I still can't believe the Northport police thought Roberta was Brian Laundrie. But I'm just an armchair detective. So, but anyway, I just wanted to to talk about these cases and just kind of put it, you know, to think about. Um, and as for the question that I asked everybody, I don't judge anyone for what their opinion may be on Roe v. Wade, whether you're pro-choice or pro-life. I just have a fear that we're going to see more abused children and more child murders and parents killing their kids. That is my fear. It's not about whether I am pro-choice or pro-life. That's just, my fear. But everyone, remember and keep Stevie Branch and Michael Moore and Christopher Byers in your thoughts, the 3 little boys from West Memphis. And all I want is the truth. All I want is the truth in that case and what happened to those little boys. No matter where it leads. And let's all of us good YouTubers out here and good creators and good subs and followers and whatnot stick together. This whole using your channels to bash other creators and whatnot is nonsense. It has no place in the true crime community. This is serious. This is serious. Summer Moon Utah Wells is a 6-year-old innocent missing child. She is not a commodity. She is not paraphernalia for you to sell on a t-shirt or a candle, or for you to make money about or on. She's a real child that's missing. All these children are missing, and God forbid what happened to them is horrific beyond comprehension of anything that is humane. Yeah, Mark, exactly. I've said that before. It's like, damn, is Candace and Dawn not bad enough? The shame that they bring to their daughter's name, is it not bad enough that you got to have other people out here dragging their immaturity, bullshit, nastiness into this and attaching it to her name? Lord, if I found Summer right now, I'd take that child and run away, and y'all would never see me again. I would hide her from the craziness and the shame that has been brought to her little name. It is just, if you want to run a drama channel, if you want to talk about other people and talk crap about other people, get out of the true crime community. You're not helping anyone. Exactly. this is serious. This is about missing and murdered children. This is about, you know, dangerous escaped convicts on the loose. You know, this is about missing people and missing adults. You know, just like Gabby was. Real people. It's not, you know, gossip. It's not, I don't know. I just don't even, I don't even get it. And using her name to try and, because you got self-conscious issues, because you're not self-confident with who you are. You have to make yourself out to be someone you're not. Oh, I'm this big detective, and I'm a rescuer, and my team does this, and no, you're not. Quit trying to be somebody you're not, and using this child and anybody else's child or any people to do that. I mean, anybody that wants to know, has any questions for me, or how I got into true crime, what led me, and what kind of credentials I have or whatever, I'll tell you. I mean, I took the police exam. I couldn't pass it. Excuse me, I took the police exam and passed it with flying colors, but I could not pass the agility test because I couldn't run. You know, I've done a lot of, I've 3 years of criminal justice college, 3 years of journalism, uh, till my health got in the way. And I ended up in the hospital having my gallbladder taken out, and then shit just went downhill from there. My whole body just fell apart. But, you know, I have a lot of self-taught. I'm self-taught. I've studied in depth so many cases, I'd be here till tomorrow, trying to name them all, and studying into every aspect of those crimes, the who, what, where, when, why, and how of these crimes. And, you know, so that, I mean, I don't stand here and try to pretend to be a private investigator, or I don't stand here and try to pretend to be person of, oh yeah, um, you know, and try to convince you that I'm who I'm not. I'll tell you what I've done. You know, I've protested. I have been on the Capitol steps more times than I care to remember. I've been on my county courthouse steps more times than I care to remember. Quorum court meetings, city council meetings. I've worked in politics. I got into working in politics when I was 17, and have campaigned for many people over the years from different, you know, sides of the political spectrum. I don't sit here and try to, and I can back every bit of it up. I don't sit here and try to talk like I'm somebody I'm not, or convince you all that I'm somebody I'm not. Um, and, a lot of what I do. Oh, well, thank you, Lisa. I appreciate that. Um, yeah, I'm an open book. I don't. So anybody out there who wants to try to dig up the dirt on me and dox me or whatever, go on with your bad self. Because there's nothing I've done that I haven't admitted to. Uh, or my family or uh, friends, associates, whatever. I've always been an open and honest book. So, but I wanted to thank everybody for following me and and listening to me and listen to me ramble. Like I said, I care about these cases. True crime is my passion. I wish to hell it wasn't, but it chose me. I didn't choose it. It chose me way back in the 80s. So, but let's just all keep Summer and Harmony and Oakley and Monkey and Timmy D's and little Cupcake and Kamari and Stevie, Michael, and Christopher, that these children all get justice. Yes, I am. I'm not a van lifer. I have a 1979 uh, Class C RV that I totally remodeled. I call it my I call it my rolling doll house because it is pretty much a depiction of me when I was 9 years old in 1979. If you see the Holly Hobby curtains, my bathroom is all hot pink Marilyn Monroe. The kitchen is pink and has splashes of strawberry shortcake. I have some of my um, old vintage strawberry shortcake stuff. But I just have this the front the front part of it, the what you would call the living room, is my mama and I share a love of pink and shabby chic. So it's like pink shabby chic. And then the cab up front is total hippie. I mean, my dash is covered with stuff. I have a big sign in the window that says "No stupid people allowed." Um, this is just and it. Like I said, it's kind of a frozen in time type depiction of me when I was 9 years old. And it's just filled with everything I love. I'm a big fan of Mae West. If you see the Mae West pictures, over there underneath my TV. You see my pop figures that my daughter bought. My daughter is, both my girls are big pop uh, figure collectors. And so I have my three favorite people: Kurt Cobain, Nikki Sixx, and Marilyn Monroe. Big Anna Nicole Smith fan. Absolutely adored her. Um, I have some beautiful pictures of Jane Mansfield. I'm a big Jane Mansfield fan. Um, I have disco balls in here. Um, it's just, filled with fun of, just everything right here next to my bed. Or I don't know if any of y'all watch basketball. Absolutely. My mother and I were big Chicago. Happened to remember the Chicago Bulls big, long winning streak of winning the championship. A guy came and played for them. His name was Brian Williams. He did later change his name. I'm gonna try to watch Arctic Fox. Marg, there is a video on here. It's one of my, I believe, the Ruby Pearl Anchor. It will show some. It will show some of the interior of my RV, and it shows some pictures of me, gutting it and ripping out carpet and all that kind of stuff. But you can watch that. Yeah, but yeah, one of these days I'm gonna do like a full blown, tour. It's just if it'll ever stop raining. But anyway, I'm gonna go for now. But I really do appreciate everyone stopping by. Please like, subscribe, and share. Tell your friends. And I hope that you will all come back. Again, I have some lives planned coming up that are going to be really good, I think. So stay tuned for those. And as I always say, be the change that you wish to see in this world. As Michael Jackson said, it starts with the man in the mirror. Peace out, everyone. Good night. Maybe I will see some of you over at Arctic Foxes live here in a little bit. Take care. Bye. Oh, God.